Okay. Most challenging thing about balancing business and personal life. I'm constantly thinking about the business. That's my most challenging thing.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm probably not very good at balancing it. So, because I really enjoy it and I want to work on it all the time. So it is kind of in my brain a lot. We definitely do it to ourselves, but we love working on the projects and stuff. Like,
it's something I'm still excited to work on, and 5 years in, like, still excited about all the stuff that we have going on.
Hey there, my name's Ashley Church.
And I'm Erin West.
We were once newly promoted crime scene and latent print supervisors on mutual struggle buses as we both simultaneously tried to navigate through the challenges within our forensic units.
Now we run a business where we create tools and resources that we wish we had had to make these transitions easier. We like to talk about the experiences we've had in the forensic field, the good, the bad, and the ugly, in the hopes to create awareness around these issues and move the needle forward to create positive change in the forensic community.
So if you're a forensic professional, regardless of your years of experience, who's not afraid to dive into real, raw, and sometimes uncomfortable topics, you're in the right place.
This is the Forensics Unfiltered podcast.
Welcome back to part 2 of our 5-year Gap Science anniversary celebration. If you missed part 1, be sure to check it out. It's filled with behind-the-scenes stories and key moments from our journey. But in today's episode, we are switching things up with audience engagement. We'll be answering your questions, playing a couple of rounds of rapid-fire questions, and sharing our vision for the next 5 years of Gap Science. So grab your favorite coffee mug. I don't know, it might be Friends Don't Let Friends Decomp or our dumpster fire coffee mug. That's up to you, you know? And get ready to celebrate with us as we dive into part 2.
Before we get into some more behind the scenes of Gap Science through the past 5 years, I do have some fun little rapid fire questions, especially for those that don't know us too well yet or starting to know us.
Oh my gosh.
I got a whole thing right here.
Oh my gosh.
So we're going to do a little bit of a rapid fire question. I'll pull a couple from the jar. We'll both give our answers, and then, maybe we'll do like a few of these and move on to the behind the scenes. So
I'm so proud of you. You were so prepared for this episode.
Listen, ChatGPT for the win gave me all these fantastic ideas.
Prepared. I love it.
So, which one do you prefer, virtual teaching or in-person teaching?
In person all day long.
In person, of course. That's for me too. I think we've gotten, we're pretty good at like not making it weird through the virtual format, but in person is so much more fun.
Yeah.
Favorite course to teach?
I mean, supervision, of course.
Yeah, I do love supervision. She hasn't taught the forensic supervisor level 2 though, and I will say I had a little too much fun with the conflict resolution.
Oh my gosh.
So that was fun to teach too. But yeah, I think the supervision course it's our hallmark,
Yeah.
What's the most fun part of running Gap Science?
Oh my gosh. I think it's just like the freedom, like the pure freedom to be like fully creative. I mean, where else in your life can you like have this really crazy idea and be like, let's just put it out into the world and see what happens?
Nowhere. I don't even know. I think about this sometimes, like, would I go back into the field? And it would have to be a very, very, very progressive agency where like I wouldn't be stifled with my creativity. Like if someone was to be like, no, we're not trying that idea. I don't know if like I can, I definitely love that part of just creating something, creating it to how we want it to be, using our own voice. We're not like these like super profesh, like very well-spoken individuals, and we can put our own flair on it. So we don't have to be like pegged into a corner of like, this is how you have to present yourself.
Yep.
So I love that. Let's do two more. We can do a couple more later if we want to. What's your favorite forensic discipline?
I mean, you know, Layton's has my heart.
Yes, it does.
I mean,
I don't know.
Would
it be criminalistics for crime scenes? That would be mine for sure.
Yeah, Layton's has my heart for sure. I even because I was a crime scene investigator for years, and I was like, I didn't understand why Layton examiners got paid like more than crime scene people. And then when I learned Layton's, I was like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
So
I do like that. If I were to do anything else, I think firearms would be fun.
yeah, I would probably go the DNA route if I was.
Oh, I couldn't.
I mean, there's people that feel the same way about Layton's too. They're like, I could never.
Yeah. Okay, this one's a fun one. The best way to unwind after a stressful day.
The best way to unwind. I mean, my immediate thought was like, I'll do a puzzle. In classic Erin fashion, you know, it's speed puzzling and challenging, so it's not actually relaxing. What do I like to do to relax? Oh my gosh. Well, yesterday I got a pedicure, a massage, and a facial. But you can't do that every day. What do you do after a stressful day?
I mean, if I'm going the healthy route, right, it should just be like relaxing and not like, you know, turning off your brain, but that's not. In this stage that we're in right now with this big project, I'm more stressed out and very anxious. So I do doom scrolling, which
I have a TikTok problem.
I mean, the dopamine hits are nice, but I really enjoy, like right now, this season right now, it would be a fire going with maybe like some type of chocolates. And watching something like the Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
I'm a basic bitch. What can I say?
It's funny. I wonder if you do this now because I have a real TikTok problem, as like anyone that knows me knows. I like
now she's making her own.
Yeah, I do
them today
all the time. Yeah. So I have been convinced. I'm like, I love TikTok. And I'm like, I want to, like, Gap Science has like 200 people that follow it on TikTok, you know, because we don't post anything on it, and I don't like to post things on social media. So, but I've become convinced. I'm like, we could make TikTok, you know, we have thousands and thousands and thousands of followers on Instagram and our other pages. But now that I've started posting things on there, now I'm like, like we got one follower today, and I was like, oh my God, we got a follower.
It's like, the dopamine. It's like,
So now I'm like, I wonder if that's what you're doing with the other accounts that I don't even
for sure.
really pay attention to. So yeah.
I don't know. I'm in a rut now. Facebook has been the hardest to grow out of any of them.
Yeah.
LinkedIn's getting some traction. And then Instagram, we were hopping. And then, you know, I can't feed enough reels into it for it to take off again. So that is more frustrating than the dopamine hit. I'm like, I'm putting all this work in and there's no growth.
We had a very viral reel, if you guys never saw it, that bumped our Instagram up like crazy high, but it had like 4.3 million views or something like that.
Yeah.
So
the good old gangster in the closet.
Mm-hmm.
I did get hate on that one as well. I think that's the lessons also that I'm still learning that lesson is like the difference being constructive criticism, a chronic people pleaser, and just being like, that person's crazy and don't worry about their comment. But that one in particular, we got a lot of hate comments.
It's bound to happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do. I mean, even people that are not putting anything out there that's even potentially controversial, still people don't like them, you know? So it's like, it is what it is.
It's just part of putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
You can't play it safe. If you play it safe, you're not doing something very interesting and you're not going to get very far. So you gotta take a stance on something and be okay with the haters. got to put your hater box on, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm so white. Anyway, back to behind the scenes, day in the life. Describe what running Gap Science looks like day to day. What do we do every day, Erin?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I would say every day when I get home from work, I go through our entire inbox and respond to any emails that need to be emailed or handle any like orders or invoices or any of that kind of stuff. And then like this week we had a webinar. So I was doing all the follow up with students, follow up with the instructor, making sure that was all, going and everything. We have a massive project that we're working on right now. So once all that's done, I get into the projects, and we have the academy starting in like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So that's another project that we're just getting everything set, getting all the instructors prepped, all of that to get ready for the academy. So for me, it's kind of stuff like that. I feel like I'm more of like an administrative, like.
Yeah, you're like the CEO and I'm like the COO. Is that the operations one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm very much of what am I in the mood to work on?
Yeah.
But a lot of what I do requires creative energy and you can't force that. But I do have moments where I need to be like, okay, Ashley, you have to get this done. But I do a lot of video editing, graphics, web design, social media stuff, like responding to comments, responding to DMs. Do that every single day. And then this past week was all about the sale. So I was doing a bunch of stuff with the Black Friday sale. The Better Than Black Friday sale is still coming up, but I still have to continue advertising. So a lot of what I do is marketing, making sure those weekly emails go out so you guys know what's going on. And then I also set up the stuff for like the reindeer games. Like I did all the emails that went with that and stuff like that. So I can't say every day is the same for me.
Yeah.
It is definitely based off of what am I interested in pouring my creative energy into that day.
Yeah. Sometimes I can tell when Ashley's avoiding working on a project because like,
of course you can.
We'll have like a major project that we're working on to finish and she'll be like, look at all these t-shirts I made last night. I'll say like, are you so trying to distract yourself?
I mean, it's still productive in some way.
Oh my gosh. So
is that a thing? Productive procrastination?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is productive procrastination for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any funny or surprising behind the scene moments that you care to share?
Behind the scene moments. I don't know if we should share this, but like, I guess we will. I think like whenever we launch a major project, it's good for you guys to know that we're just shitting our pants behind the scenes, hoping that all is well, So like,
obsessively
yeah,
looking to make sure that things are running as it should.
So like literally the reindeer games is starting tomorrow because it's, yet another like thing that we came up with randomly and then like put all this work into putting it together. And hopefully from your side, it will look very seamless and fun and whatever. And from our side, we'll be like, as everything's going out and everything's getting started until
for real. Like literally this past week, the registration for the teams started.
Yeah.
And we were getting, low traction, which is normal. It's so normal. And we've gone through it with the summit too, where people don't register at the very beginning. And we know like people are going to wait till the end to register. And at that point, we're already second guessing, like maybe the registration form's wrong. And like, it's, not hooked up correctly or like whatever. No, it's working fine.
Yeah.
But we're still shitting our pants.
Yeah. I think that's a big behind the scenes thing is like basically anytime we're launching, a new project, a new summit, a new class, a new whatever, like on your side, we hope that it always looks very seamless, or if there's any glitches or whatever, that they're very minor and something we can take care of. But it is always stressful to throw something out there into the world.
This was our first real experience with Black Friday, and there is a lot of learning moments there, for sure.
For sure. We've never done really anything for Black Friday.
No.
So this was the first time we tried to plan it. And I think we do this pretty commonly, is like, I already have ideas of how I would change it for next Black Friday, to make it better for you guys and, get you guys things that you really want to be part of that kind of offer that you're shopping for during that period of time. So we do that constantly, where we put something out there and then we tweak it for the next iteration. But yeah, I would say that's one of the big behind the scenes things is like how it's going for us when we, something new is coming out that people probably don't know.
It's a lot. And this year has been bananas, where we're just like in constant launch mode. So we're constantly just shitting our pants. It's fine.
It's fine.
So briefly, we are going to do a live Q&A with you guys. So coming up, if you have questions, start entering them into the chat box now. But let's very briefly talk about how we come up with ideas and how we choose which projects, courses, or products to start developing.
Well, we choose them all, and that's one of our problems. That's a major problem for us. I would say we don't ever plan on making all of these crazy things, but every time Ashley and I come together, some massive project comes out of it. So I don't know why we do that. Like, every time we're together, I feel like all the brain juices are flowing, and then we launch something new. So like the last time we were together, I think it was the last time we were together, right? Yeah. We came up with all the Black Friday sales and the reindeer games, which is starting tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. I think it's going to be super fun. My girls have already started like getting together some of the challenge stuff, and it's freaking hilarious. So I cannot wait to see everybody's stuff. But yeah, I feel like every time we come together, like the membership vault, the vault came out of one of the times we got together. The summit came out of one of the times we got together. The academies did. Like, it is super random. Like, every time we get together, we come up with some new massive project. And Ashley has been saying this for a really long time. I think this is a lot harder for me than it is for her. She keeps telling me that we need to say no to some things and focus on just certain things. So that is a challenge for me to like stop doing certain, classes, activities, like whatever. But I do think we have well gotten to the point where we have too much, so we really do need to focus in on just a few things, which that is one of our goals for 2025, is to kind of zone in on just a few things for the year instead of 800 things going on. But that's
I think this year was a little bit unique too, and we had like people coming to us with project ideas. I mean, 3 of them off the top of my head, like people came to us,
and they were amazing. Like, we didn't,
and they were great. Yeah,
down. Yeah,
and so it is really hard. I think we're getting better, like now that we have created these things, and like it takes dozens of hours of time behind the scenes just to launch something. I think we're getting a little bit better of like, this doesn't really align with what our audience wants. So there's definitely been some things that have been a little bit of a bust. And I think we're getting a little bit better of like, okay, we're very grateful for people to want to work with us. And we would love to work with everyone, but there are definitely like, you have to put your business owner hat on and like, what's best for the business, what's best for our customers. So I think we are still navigating like how to choose the right projects.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So Amber asked, you usually pick a central theme for your summits. Yes, thanks for noticing. How do you pick the theme? So it started with a summit in a box. I don't know if you can see it. And we weren't very good at it at the very beginning, I would say. I don't know if you'd agree, Erin. It's very much like the way summits should run should be very hyper focused on like a very like small niche. And we were like, no, it could be for everyone. And then like that doesn't do well. So in the workbook, it does take you through some exercises to see like which audience we want to target. So you could tell with our first one, we targeted supervisors. And then our symposium, we targeted trainers. And then they're like, what's the biggest thing, like the biggest issue that they're dealing with? What are they craving to learn? So then we start brainstorming, usually based off of experiences. But now that we have a big customer base, we do a lot of surveys and polls, and that's why we poll you guys so much, just to see what you want, and we use those to make decisions on what's the theme going to be this year. What do you guys need? What do you guys want?
Yeah. And one of the things for the summit that was really important for us is that every year we wanted it to be different. So we didn't want you to keep coming back to the summit and you're just seeing the same topics over and over again every year. But you guys can definitely see, like at our first summit, we kind of had everything in there. Like it was kind of all over the place. And then we've started to like tighten it down so that now like the whole summit is around this like one core topic. But we do try to pick pain points for supervisors, like things that you guys are really having a hard time with, things that we're having a hard time with as supervisors that we could use some classes or resources on. So that's kind of what we plan for the summits. So if you have thoughts, Amber, on what you'd like to see at a future summit, you let us know.
Yeah. Cynthiana. Hey, Cynthiana. She is our book lover queen. She has been to, I'm pretty sure, all of the book clubs with you, Erin. Yeah.
Yeah, she has been to many of the book clubs for sure.
And she was the winner for upcoming academy too. So we're excited to have her. But she asked, would you all start the business again, knowing the challenges now?
Have you heard about The Vault? It's the first ever membership exclusively for forensic training, and we have packed it full of goodies. So get this, you get instant access to over 20 webinar replays on everything from landing a job in forensics to field training to supervision. But that's not all. We're also throwing in some of our top e-courses, our Field Training Officer Virtual Academy, and exclusive Forensic Supervisor Success kits from past virtual summits. And guess what? You get everything mentioned for just $29 a month, or you can grab a whole year for only $300. And we know many forensic professionals lately are paying for their own training, so we want to make sure training is affordable and accessible for everyone. There is fresh content every month, and that also makes it an endless learning opportunity for you. So it's a no-brainer. Join the Vault today and be part of the forensic education revolution. I'll include the link in our show notes, or you can head to our website to learn more. Don't miss out. Unlock your potential with the Vault.
But she asked, would you all start the business again, knowing the challenges now? 1,000%. That's not even, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I would as well. And then she took that a little bit further and said, what advice would you give to someone that's considering starting a business in the field of forensics? What are your thoughts on that, Ashley?
I think the thing that holds people back the most is overthinking it. Like, just push something out there. If you are even considering it, surround yourself with people that have been there, done that, or find some mentor online. Like, that's pretty much what I've done, is like, I follow a lot of accounts that have nothing to do with forensics. It's all about like business and marketing and stuff like that to help like mentor and guide some of the decisions. So that would be like some of the starting things about starting the business is like, don't be in your head about it. Just do it.
Yeah. And I would think through a little bit about, I would say like have an idea of what you want to do, but to be honest, like we've ended up doing so many things that we never thought that we would do. So, but I think the biggest thing is like we've already talked about in this episode, you are going to have to learn a lot. You're going to have to stretch and do uncomfortable things and put yourself out there and market yourself and all of those things. And so I think if you're considering starting a business, you really have to have like a flexible mindset, and you can grow that over time. We have certainly gotten a lot more flexible over the years of doing this business, where now we're like, well, whatever we can learn, whatever we need to know to be, successful at this next project, this next endeavor, whatever. But you have to be prepared. There's going to be a lot of things that you're going to have to learn and do to get your business going. So just be in the mindset that that's going to happen and it's going to be okay. You can learn those things.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really, really great suggestion, because there's some people that think like, oh, I just want to teach. If you just want to teach, that's fine. Okay. Like go be an instructor for a company like TriTech, or, we have people that come to us and they want to instruct for us. If you're not interested at all in doing all of the other business things, then I would suggest not starting up your own business and just teach through someone, because it is a lot more involved than just coming up with content and teaching it.
Yeah.
There's so much more to it, especially like customer service and stuff like that. You got to put your customer service hat on if stuff goes wrong or anything. Like you have to put your your IT hat on all the time. And like, if like you have technical issues, you can't just defer that to someone else. You got to figure it out.
Yeah. And it isn't all just about teaching. Like we don't know that that's what you would want to start a business for, but there's, plenty of opportunity and plenty of need for things in the forensic field that would justify you starting your own business that aren't necessarily teaching. So you just have to figure out, what is it that I want to do, or what do I have that I could offer someone else or offer a department that they would find useful. And if you can figure that out and you're willing to do the work for it, then I say go for it.
So I want to dive into the impact that Gap Science has had on the forensic community. So let's share some examples, specific examples of how Gap Science has made a difference in the lives of forensic professionals.
I mean, I very much hope that supervisors walk away from our courses with the tools that they need to be a better supervisor in a variety of different ways, not only kind of managing like hard skills wise, like keeping stats and writing SOPs and all of that kind of stuff that's so necessary for your team to be successful. But I also really hope that they work on their soft skills and that improves their team. Like we have a lot of people that come to our courses voluntarily. They're excited to be there. We have a lot of people that are forced to attend our courses, and those are often the people that are obviously need to be there, and I hope, forensics is stressful enough as it is to not also have a supervisor that's a very difficult person to work for. So I really hope that, people are leaving our classes and literally becoming better leaders, and therefore impacting their team by making, their team's lives a little better. That's my hope for our classes.
I mean, we didn't even talk about this in the origin. A lot of people because I guess the logo itself has all capital letters, they think GAP is an acronym. It's not an acronym. The reason why we called ourselves Gap Science at the very beginning is because we wanted to close the gaps or fill in the gaps of training we wish we had as we were being promoted through the forensic field. And one of the like glaring issues is soft skills. So what we see a lot in the forensic community is whoever is technically good, like they're a good technician, those are the people that are getting promoted. And that doesn't necessarily equate to a good leader. But the other thing, the other caveat to that is maybe you have a really great potential to be a good leader, but agencies don't see soft skill training as necessary. Usually they'll throw it out there as like a voluntary thing, or completely, be like, oh, we need to put our time and resources and money into other types of training. And so I like Erin said, I really hope that we are fulfilling that need, and it takes a long time for you to develop those skills. But hopefully over time, you can take that information from the classes and be able to apply it. And it's not just going to make your life better and easier as the leader of the unit, but your team is going to benefit from it so much. So it's like this big ripple effect in the forensic community that hopefully, our content resonates with the people out there that need to hear it.
Yeah. I also wanted to really build a community. Like, I know one of the things that was hard for us when we were supervisors, or even now as a supervisor, is if you don't have resources you can reach out to, you're kind of shit out of luck, So it's really nice to have a huge community of supervisors across the country that you can reach out to and connect with and be like, help me out. Can you send me your policies, your training program? Can someone answer this question? And so we've really focused on, in our classes, we focus on really creating engagement where people get to know each other. And even this online platform, like we wouldn't even be here without some of the summits and things like that, this online community. That was something that I think has always been really important to us as well, is just building a community of people to help each other out, really.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah. And I don't know if you have any specific memorable testimonials or success stories from our students that come to mind, but there are a couple for me. Big success stories that come to mind for me is definitely Amy Wild. Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of one of those serendipitous things. So through our first Forensic Supervisor Success Summit, we decided to give away the big grand prize was registration and a fully paid trip to one of our courses. And she ended up going to the supervision course. And I guess the very last day when we talk about self-care and staff care, it resonated with her so much that she made this incredible change in her personal life, in her health, within her own agency. And now she's even going and pursuing a degree to help making the mental health and forensics better. So I think that testimonial definitely comes to mind, which we got to hear the whole story of how that impacted her and what she's doing now in this past Forensic Supervisor Success Summit. So it's a full circle thing. She came on as a presenter and shared her story. So that one touched me in the feels for sure.
Yeah, for sure. She's another one too that now has become just a friend, she started as a student and now she's become another person that we talk to relatively often,
Yeah. So if you're listening to this, Amy, we love you. Okay. So wrapping this up, we're going to get to the end, but what do you think our vision for the future is? It could be projects, courses, product launches. Where do you think we're going to be in the next 5 years?
I could not even speculate, because the things that we're doing now, 5 years ago, I could never have told you that we would be doing any of these things. So I don't even know. I think that one of the things that Ashley is really good at is just staying on top of what is like the trending technology. And I think that we will follow that. So, whatever is coming out that is the new way to learn, the new way to teach, the new way to connect, whatever those things are, I think you'll see us continue to implement that stuff because I feel like we've done a pretty good job of implementing some very new things to the field of forensics. Some of the ways we were doing, training and some of the conferences that we've done and some of those things, the membership, I mean, that stuff's kind of foreign to our discipline as a whole right now. So I could see like whatever technological things coming out, us following that, but guessing where we'll be in 5 years, girl, I have no idea.
I don't either. I couldn't even tell you. And the thing is, like, it's interesting stuff like the summits, like a lot of the other businesses out there, they've been doing summits for like over a decade. It's not new to their field. So they're like, oh, summits are dying. I'm like, no, it's great for our field because it's so like, it's still something that's like shiny and new. And same thing with like a membership. Like that's not like really a novel idea, but it is new to the forensic field. And I definitely appreciate Erin for trusting me, but I also appreciate our students for trusting us because it is kind of a leap of faith. There's really nothing else modeled too much like that in forensics. It's probably very hard to get that type of thing approved as a training request. So we just appreciate you guys going along with some of these crazy ideas. But yeah, I couldn't tell you either. Like we do so much pivoting. I really hope that we can get more focus. We'll have like, not that our reputation's not great, or not like, really great. It's really great. But I do think we have so many things, like it would be cool. Like we're just known for like this one big thing, and maybe the vault will be that. I think that has started to skyrocket, especially with a lot of people taking advantage of the Better Blend Black Friday sale, which is currently still going on right now. And I hope that you guys love it. You'll continue to stay members because I do think it is an incredible resource. And I'm not just trying to be biased because we're the ones that created it. All right. And this is where closing time. We do have a couple more things to wrap up but we're gonna segue into closing remarks.
I still want to see what other questions you have in your vase.
Oh, okay. So before I get into the closing remarks, why don't we just do a couple more?
I know, they were so good.
Okay, so back to some rapid fire. Okay. Thanks, ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Favorite snack during late night work sessions? Oh my God. This reminds me of like us. So there are times where we meet up, like we're literally going to be doing this in January. We meet up, we get a hotel room. We basically just like
work until we can't literally keep our eyelids open anymore. And we go to the store and we get a bunch of snacks. So tell everyone what our snacks are. It's usually a random selection of like, we walk down the aisle and scoop up whatever, but there's always some kind of chocolate. There's always some kind of like nut mix, I feel. What else?
It depends on like if I want to be weary of upsetting my tummy or just full on binge.
I think one of the last times, like Ashley we got chocolate and like, nut mix or whatever. And I think she got like a log of goat cheese or something.
Yes. And it was delicious.
What are we doing with this log of goat cheese?
Listen, it was delicious. And crackers, like, yes. But yeah, it's very random. And we always get like a full basket of snacks. Yeah. And we just lock ourselves up in the room. Or eventually, like maybe like the next morning, we do also need caffeine. So like we'll go to a coffee shop, have coffee, work our butts off at the coffee place until like our butts hurt because the seats are so uncomfortable. And then we go back to the hotel room and continue snacking.
That was by far this year. So we try to do a few trips a year, maybe like 2 or 3, where we do like a work huddle for a few days. But we went to the June this year in Canada randomly.
It wasn't random. We have been wanting to do that
yeah.
since 2020.
Yeah, but it was amazing. It was such a fun trip, and we worked our butts off while we were there. But the June is a hotel, like they had a Netflix show. That was how we both ended up even knowing what it was. We both watched the Netflix show, and then the hotel is made for girls trips basically. So it's so cute. Everything is super cute. Everything is made like intentionally to be like beautiful in photographs and stuff like that. Like they really had a lot of like Instagram moments all over the hotel. And it's right by the beach, and it was just so cute. It was such a fun place, and we got a ton of work done while we were there. But I would 100% go to the June every year for a work powwow.
That was a really great decision. So we made a couple of really great decisions this past year. First, the whole thing that fueled that was getting this thing called the Big Ass Calendar.
Yeah.
And we followed that. We both like went on our own journey with that. I did a full printed out vision board for the year. And then we made it a point to do 3 fun things this year. And we happened to choose those fun things with each other. So I think that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
So the June was one, the Eras tour was another, and I drug her on a color analysis. And I don't know about you, but it's been life-changing for me. I'm not wearing my colors tonight, except for my lips.
Either. Yeah.
I'm wearing, I got to support the Tortured Forensics department. Yeah. It's the last Taylor Swift night.
We did not pre-plan this, actually.
Yeah, but we knew.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, those, we are already planning on going back to the June.
I would love to go to the June every year.
It's so much fun. And they do have 2 other properties. So if you're ever interested in watching the Netflix show, it's called Motel Makeover. But their first motel was in Prince Edward County. The June was their second motel that they did on the show. And then they just came out with a third one that's more like in the mountains. I don't remember what it's called. Okay. Most challenging thing about balancing business and personal life. I'm constantly thinking about the business. That's my most challenging thing.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm probably not very good at balancing it. So because I really enjoy it and I want to work on it all the time. So it is kind of in my brain a lot. And I would say like, I don't have kids, like Ashley has kids. So the only person I'm neglecting is my husband, who, whenever I have work projects, he's like, I'm going to go play Call of Duty with the boys. And like, okay. But I feel like you are balancing a husband and children as well. So it's probably more of a challenge for you, but
it's definitely a lot. But I also make it a point like to spend time with them like outside of the house and stuff every day. But I do find myself in some ruts, even outside of big launches, where I'm like, I just need to shut this down for the weekend. I do think like talking about visions and stuff like that, I do hope that we can get even more like software or tools, resources, people, whatever it's going to look like, to help us make things even more streamlined. So some of the things that we're dealing with right now that are big time sucks, that are not like working on these new projects, we can either delegate that or streamline it a little bit better. So we're not always like every hour of the day inside of the business. Like,
yeah, I've definitely had to get better with that because like you said, like if I want to take a day to not do Gap Science stuff, I would feel guilty about it, you know? Yeah. So, but I have to be like, it's okay. Like you do it every day. You can take one day where you're just not doing those things. But
yeah,
kind of going back to like Cynthiana's question about starting a business, it's definitely not 8 to 5. So, I mean, we work on it all the time. So that is challenging to learn when to shut it off so that you can have a little bit of you time.
Yeah. And not to scare anyone from starting a business. We're just crazy and decide to do all the things.
Yeah. But we
So
love it. I mean,
if we didn't
love,
do all of the things, I think it'd be a lot easier to manage. But we like pumping stuff out, and
we definitely do it to ourselves, but we love working on the projects and stuff. Like,
there are moments of burnout, of course, but it's something I'm still excited to work on. And 5 years in, like, still excited about all the stuff that we have going on.
Yeah, for sure.
So as we're wrapping things up, of course, we want to just thank you guys for being here, supporting us. Even this podcast was a little bit of a passion project of mine. Definitely not something Erin was interested in. It's something I'm like, we should do a podcast. So we just appreciate you guys, tuning in, listening to us ramble for a good long while. And we would appreciate if you like, subscribe, whatever that looks like on your podcast platform. Follow us along Gap Science. You can find us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Pinterest, as well as our very own private Gap Science community off of social media. So we know a lot of you guys are in law enforcement, don't want to have social media, and that's why we created this community just for you. Also, make sure to check out our upcoming academies. Like Erin said, the first one is coming up in January. We're kicking things off, I think, January 13th, something around there. So that's our Forensic Supervision Level 2. We are offering a special for that as well. So if you only want a specific topic, maybe you don't want the whole academy, or you're working on a tight budget, you could get a day pass for only $150. And the topics that we're going to have for the academy include coaching and developing your employees, conflict resolution, time management tools for you and your team, effective communication with your chain of command, grant funding and writing grant proposals, which I think is going to be super popular, and managing a forensic budget. So right now you can either join the academy and have all of those topics available. If you do so before December 13th, you'll get 3 months of the vault for free. That's an $87 value. Or you can opt to get one of the day passes for only $150. And those are limited to 10 people each. And depending on when I get this edited, the reindeer games, maybe if I can light a fire under my butt and either have this episode out by this Wednesday or next Wednesday, you could still join the reindeer games.
Yeah, so we're so excited about the reindeer games. It starts December 9th, tomorrow, Monday, December 9th. It is a holiday challenge, a forensic holiday challenge. You get a different, small, totally manageable challenge. No, we're not trying to add stress to the holiday, just a fun way to celebrate. So a forensic holiday challenge each day for 10 days. And you get the opportunity to win fun prizes each day. Or there's a grand prize for the whole reindeer games. So all you have to do is complete your challenge with your team. You can be a solo team, or you can have a team of people up to 5. Complete the challenge, post a photo, tag us and 2024 reindeer games, and you'll be entered for a chance to win. So we hope that you guys will join us. We had a lot of fun putting this together. And if you're hearing this after December 9th, like Ashley said, you can still join all the way up to the end. You can still download the challenge packet, read through all the challenges, and still get them completed and post them, and still be eligible to win any of the daily prizes that are left and the big grand prize.
Yes. And some of the team names coming in are so fun, but we have the Frosty Forensic Longhorns, One Horse Open Sleigh, CS Up to Snow Good, Uncontrollable Substances, the Naughty Night Shifters. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Already over 20 teams have registered. Make sure that you register and sign up and download your workbook and have a really good time with us.
It's going to be super fun.
All right. That's it. That's the episode. That's the 5-year anniversary episode. I think we should end with a toast. So I have a high noon here. Yes. I don't know if you guys have adult beverages
we totally did. It's a birthday party.
To go along with your knitting and listening to us. But cheers.
Cheers
we're doing
to 5 years.
It's crazy. And we're not very good about stopping and appreciating what we've, how far we've come and like celebrating the wins. So I'm glad we did this episode.
Agreed. So thank you guys once again for 5 years of hanging with us at Gap Science, and of course for listening to another episode of Forensics Unfiltered. It was awesome to have you guys here, and we hope to see you at the next one.
Thank you so much for being here and listening to Forensics Unfiltered. If you liked this episode, would you do us a favor and leave a review letting us know specifically what you liked about this topic? It will only take a minute, but it will really help us plan future episodes so we can bring you more topics that you want to listen to. We'll be sure to provide any links from today's episode in our show notes on our website. Head to www.gapscience.com. Until next time, stay safe out there.